What's up, y'all? All right, so I'm gonna approach this a little different this time around. I'm in the flow right now. Pumping them out. Moon is in Aries. It's in the end of Aries. However, still a time to utilize that energy, right? So I'm gonna begin with Pisces Sun, Moon in Aries. I'm gonna jumble all of the recent requests in one video. So with a Pisces Sun, since all of these requests are Pisces, let me just begin with the Pisces Sun, so I don't have to keep going back and say, Pisces Sun, but I can just reference Pisces when I'm doing your Moon. The Pisces Sun is the sum of all parts, the sum of all 12 zodiac signs, the chameleon of the zodiac, meaning that not only are they the sum of all parts, but they can actually behave like each one of these zodiac signs. And whether it's a gift or a curse is really up to you, that Pisces, to understand if you can play those parts without going nuts, pretty much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So it's solely up to you. However, the ability is there, and that's why Pisces is ruled by water, the element of water, and because it's formless. So to be able to shift like that and just into a whole nother character role comes from the ability to be fluid, all right? Formless, no structure. Pisces don't have, like, how we, should I say, reference zodiac signs to animals and stuff, right? The fish, the Pisces is the fish. There's no protective armor. There's no shell. You know what I mean? They're not seen as the king of the jungle. They're not seen as, they don't have shells like a Cancer does, or whatever the case may be. Pisces, fish just swim. Fish just swim. Not only that, so what I'm saying with that is, like, that's a fighting tool. Like, that's a technique for a Pisces, because if you want to not get eaten, you swim away, right? But at the same time, this is where naivety and gullibleness comes in as well, because if a Pisces sees some colorful bait, they'll go swim for it and they might get hooked. You know what I'm saying? And pull a fish out of water for too long, the repercussions of that, right? So these things are relative to a Pisces. Also, Pisces, fish swim in schools. So the ability for a Pisces to obtain information at alarming rates is another, I would say, quality of a Pisces. And again, it could be a gift and a curse, because if you take in so much at one time, how do you process it all and make it viable? Something that a Pisces has to deal with and sometimes struggles with, because being formless, you could be caught up in your thoughts all day. You may not even get anything done, However, as I said before in another video, daydreaming is a beneficial pastime for a Pisces. Watching other people move, like watching movies, reading books, those are beneficial pastimes for Pisces, because it opens up their imagination. It helps them to imagine too. It takes them to a place where what they're naturally born to do, which is create things or from out of thoughts, from the water, deep from the water, to make it in some type of form. For them to do that, it sparks their natural abilities, so they get the indication of, this is what I'm supposed to do here. They get inspired is pretty much what I'm saying. They get motivated by seeing those types of things. But they travel. Fishes travel in schools. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, when you eat fish, it's a brain food, right? So when Pisces speak, it's like food to the brain, right? And you can catch Pisces giving spiritual advice. Mostly, it doesn't have to always be spiritual. It could just be regular advice to people from all over the place. And a lot of the times it's correct. I'm not saying this because I'm a Pisces. I'm just being for real. Like, my godfather was a Pisces. We didn't speak all the time, but every time I spoke, I needed him. You understand what I'm saying? And when I asked him something and he answered me, it was the truth. Flat out. It was the truth. And I'm a skeptic. I'm a Virgo, Ascendant, Virgo Moon. I'm a skeptic. I know how to determine whether something was told to me was the truth or not, though. Like, so what I'm saying is, a Pisces doesn't even have to know you. A Pisces doesn't have to talk to you all the time to know you. In that very moment, you can ask a Pisces, what should I do about this? Or what do you think about this? And they're going to tell you the truth a lot of the times. I don't, that's just my experiences. You know what I'm saying? So that type of deep wisdom is embedded inside of a Pisces. And it comes with psychic ability, if you ask me. So, these being a vision, there's so much to the 12th house, right? Prisons, hospitals, secrets, confidential information, secret agendas, secret enemies, discoveries, hidden treasures. It's all 12th house. Surrender. So, Pisces master at being passive aggressive. It's like done it all, seen it all. What else is there left to do or say? You got that. You know what I'm saying? They let a lot of things blow over because they know deep down the consequence to everything, right? Because they're 12th house people. They're the end. So a lot of times also when people say, Pisces are crazy. That's why 12th house rules over hospitals and prisons. It's because that's where Pisces will end up. You know what I mean? Like to say it's going to be in a crazy house or something like that, or you just do something so criminal and you abuse substances so much that you're going to be in prison. You know what I mean? So what they don't understand though is that the construct of the 12th house, it's because that's the end of things. A Pisces will run the prison. A Pisces will run the hospital because Pisces are natural healers. So a lot of stuff gets tossed around a little bit distorted when it comes to the understanding of a Pisces. But when you think about it, a person who can be very Pisces can be very insensitive to others. Comes from naturally having rose-colored glasses. And so when let's say you run a hospital and you're there to heal warriors, if you will, you done seen people's legs blown off. You done seen people bleed out. You done put white sheets over people, talk to their families afterwards. That's what Pisces really do because they have the deepest level of understanding. So they've stomached all of this already. And they've seen the world for what it really is. And they just that's what makes them numb. That's what makes them become insensitive to other people's complaining or other people's, moving on whims or, just not taking life seriously. So, they may stay in that hospital mode of nursing other people because it's just like, why even play the game of life when this is the results and the consequences? We already know the results and the consequences. I should just be in an isolated area and wait for my patients to come in. So it's really like the Pisces is the nurse of the hospital. The Pisces is the warden of the prison. Because you may hear people say as well, right? Like when people say they don't wish jail on their worst enemy, what they're really saying inadvertently or underhanded, should I say, is that they wish death on their enemies. All right? Because prison preserves people. Prison preserves people. Right? So they're not saying it like, oh, I don't wish, prison, the same people who say that if they're criminals, they probably been to jail and they know how you can get your weight back up in jail, right? You learn brotherhood all over again. There's no chicks around to smash like that. So you learn discipline again. You're not just going to be walking around all crazy 24/7 like you would in the streets because you got this man next to you, that man next to you, that man next to you, a whole dome full of men. Someone's not going to be having it. And even if you're the wildest cowboy, you're going to end up getting into those scuffles and scrapping and everything. That's not going to make you stay comfortable. So you start learning wisdom because you have no other choice. You're boxed in, right? You go to the gym. You work out in prison. You read books in prison. You know what I'm saying? You actually have dialogue with men in a disciplined manner. A lot of that takes place in prison. All of these like booty monster stories and all of this, a lot of that stuff is very fabricated. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but a lot of this whole prison stuff that you hear about is fabricated bullshit. Some people, and I'm telling you, some criminals can tell you that they had some of the best memories they ever had, or did some of the best time they ever had in prison. Don't let them lie to you. Of course, no one wants to be there. You don't want to eat the food and shit like that, but you may get packages. You know what I mean? You may be able to cook up in your own. Some men didn't know how to cook until they went to prison. Didn't even think it should be a thing that they should do until they went to prison and they got disciplined. So again, these are some of the constructs of a Pisces. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep into it, but you get what I'm saying, right? And I also want to put more of a positive twist on Pisces. It's just so the literature, some of the literature out there is just so twisted and distorted on Pisces people. Is you gotta switch the narrative for what it really is. Pisces people, that y'all know Pisces, like, come on, get in the comment box. But anyway, I might have digressed a bit, but that's Pisces. You understand what I'm saying? As much as I can tell you, because being a house of discoveries and secrets, not 8th house secrets, 12th house secrets, no one really truly knows the end, right? 12th house rules afterlife and everything. No one really truly knows the end. So if I'm telling you I'm having dreams about people who are no longer here, what does it mean? How does the end even, how is the end real? How can the end be real? Like how? What's that? I think what's that show that's on Netflix right now? I think it's like Carbon Copy or something like that. It gives a great example of how people reincarnate. I'm gonna get in the comment box with the actual name of it if I got it incorrect. But it gives a great example of how people actually reincarnate with the same soul, but they come in different bodies and stuff like that. Okay, so that's Pisces. Now, I'm gonna start off with the Aries Moon. That was one of the first requests that I got. So to be a Pisces, which I explained, and having an Aries Moon, this can be a turbulent type of energy with oneself. There can be a struggle with oneself. And the reason being is the Aries Moon. Let's talk about Aries Moon first. Aries Moon, confident, courageous, ambitious, energetic, impulsive. See that last one, impulsive, tends to persuade this Pisces to behave. What happens is because Pisces has a sea of thoughts, right? A sea of thoughts. So what has the potential to happen a lot here is the Aries Moon can absorb one of those thoughts, or just the first thought maybe, right? And it may not be calculated. And the Aries Moon may latch onto that and act it out. And this can be a continuous thing because it's just the Aries don't really have breaks. You know? It's like it's like afterwards, like, oh, my bad. You know, they just do it. You know what I mean? So as a Pisces Sun who has no structure anyway, you know, a Pisces may get dragged along for a ride that their moon is operating the whole entire time. You know what I mean? So now with this impulsiveness with an Aries moon, they have regrets. Like they will do things impulsively and have regrets for doing it afterwards. And be like, oh man, I shouldn't have did that. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And so what they learn here is, and this is what I learned from an Aries moon is, you know, I think I had to have a little conversation with someone before about, you know, they were saying that Aries are people's people. And I'm just like, not initially, no. I don't see that. You know, I don't find that because they're on go so much. When you're on go so much at that rate, at that level, you're not considering other people. You're not. You're a solo act. And that's just the fact of the matter. Like, you become people's people on your way because it just has to happen. There's so many people in the world that you obviously bump into someone else and you're like, oh yeah, it takes two to have a conversation. But the Aries moon is a solo act. It's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing me, and I'll meet up with you along the way if that's the case. But I'm not going to consider you in my decision making. What for? It's me. You know what I'm saying? But this is where the Aries Moon learns that in order for them to be the best, they should utilize other people, because when it comes to plans, remember what I said before, well, I don't know if you've seen the last video, but Aries have no plan of action. Aries Sun, there's no plan of action there. It's just head first, I'm going in. You know what I mean? They learn as they go. It's the same thing to the Aries Moon. They learn as they go. So in the process of doing that and acting impulsively and doing some things that you regret, the quicker you pick up on how to attach other people to what you're doing, the simpler your interactions, the simpler your operations become. You know, do I sound like I'm in a business sense when I'm explaining this? Probably so. That probably comes along with my education, but you can look at this in the form of working too. Okay, so let's talk about like a Aries Moon may take the occupation of nursing, right? And I say that again because you're a Pisces Sun, right? But Aries comes right after Pisces. But Aries Moon may take on like an occupation of nursing to like the physical therapy part of nursing, right? To be hands-on with it and actually like move the body parts of a person to rehabilitate them back to walking again or something like that. Might find yourself in the diamond industry of some sort. Any type of police work Aries might be into as well, like military soldiers and stuff like that. Also some type of fitness regimen Aries Moon may be in and stuff like that, to put their fiery energy inside of. So the thing that really needs to be paid attention to here is that you may work for someone all of your life. And the reason being is because Aries wants at a rate that is so fast paced that they're just like, tell me what to do and I'm gonna fucking do it. You know what I mean? Get the money, do whatever it is I want to do. They are family people, I will say that. So the Aries Moon, you will be gravitated towards family in some type of way because you're the baby of the zodiac. And that's evident, you know what I mean? So you're going to want to latch on to your family members in some type of way. And that may be the security that the Aries Moon needs through life. So again, it doesn't matter. As long as they are achieving on their way, like they're making their way up. Because like I know some Aries Suns, for example, who just, they enter a profession, but they don't stay at the same level. Like they take another course and they raise up in that level and this, that, and the third. But they may stay at the same profession for years. They may also do some audiology stuff. So they may be like studio engineers or something like that, producers, music producers and stuff like that as well, with that placement. But to be a Pisces Sun, the struggle is just like, can you be creative? And that's why I said, like, something along the lines of being an audiologist. Is that a word? But, dealing with audio, right, would be something great for a Pisces Sun, Aries Moon, because, a Pisces will be able to be in their element while at the same time enjoying something that the Aries can do. And the reason why I say audio is because Aries rules the head. So you put something on your ears and you listen. See how that makes a connection there? So it's music with the Pisces, the ears with the Aries Moon, and you got a good combination there. But again, plan of action, this person with this type of placement or people with these types of placements should look for where there is discipline and structure inside of their chart. You know what I mean? So this is pretty much just like an on the surface discussion. It's not, I can't necessarily get in too depth as I did like with the Virgo Moon and Pisces Sun, because I'm a Virgo Moon and Pisces Sun. But the more that I get experienced in reading people's charts who have these types of placements, I can tell you more from, their activities or whatever the case may be. But from a general perspective, like from a textbook perspective, that's pretty much what Pisces Sun, Aries Moon is. Now, Pisces Sun, Capricorn Moon, I think, is the next one requested. You guys are requesting. So again, the whole Pisces Sun thing going on, right? As I explained before, we know what Pisces is. Now, as far as a Capricorn Moon, this is a great fit for a Pisces Sun on one condition, that they get the foundation and structure that they need. The negative aspect, if you will, about this combination is that the emotions will be suppressed in some type of way. No, some type of way. It's just like the Capricorn Moon that does it, because the Capricorn Moon is going to have a issue with openly expressing feelings and being around people who openly express their feelings. Yeah, that's deep, right? And all of their energy is going to want to be put into the ambition towards achieving and with their goals. See, that works for a Pisces Sun who is formless and doesn't come equipped with the necessary structure, right? At the same time, though, the professions may conflict. Because if you got a Capricorn Moon, you may be in something more, you may be interested more in something that deals with masonry. Like I know a few Capricorns who get into construction, like a few. Something like engineering, so you might be wanting to wire a building. You might be wanting to like design the inside, the pipings of a building. You might want to get into real estate, right? As a Capricorn Moon, you might want to get into economics, not like accounting. I know Capricorn Moon is about that money, but not like accounting, not like counting it, but more along the lines of economics, understanding the whole structure of how trade works and actually becoming into like project management after that. Like that's like a dream sometimes of a Capricorn Moon, to like be able to manage the whole operations of a company or something of that nature, right? But these things that I just explained about the Capricorn Moon is dry to a Pisces Sun. Pisces Sun is going to want to do more things along the line of not structuring stuff. You know what I mean? So again, every time there's a Sun and a Moon combination, to me, there's something conflicting about it, right? Because how can you be a free-flowing person and be so rigid? Because your moon is powerful. Like, for example, I just pumped out like I don't know how many videos, right? That's relative to my Virgo moon. The reason why I say that is because Virgos can talk. You ever talk to a Virgo? Yo, I be on the phone with Virgos for hours. And I don't truly like being on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, if it wasn't like work related or something like that, sometimes I'll just be like, okay, like I'll try to get off the phone, or I'll just try not to answer it, period. But with the Virgo moon, it's just like, okay, it's time to talk. You know, I got topics I want to talk about, so I'm going to talk, and I'm going to talk. Because it's stuff that I'm interested in. So that I'm just showing you an example of how powerful the moon can be. And it may have the potential it may just potentially overpower the Pisces Sun. So sometimes, you know, if you see a person's moon or you see a person's ascendant, you may not even be able to tell that what their sun is. You might not even know this person is a Pisces unless you like look in their eyes or something. Like, you might not even know with a Capricorn moon, because it's like hovering over the Pisces Sun, like, we gotta do this and we have to do this. We have to do this because we have to be known. Now, this can be a flip side to this as well. Like those times that Pisces get the rap for beginning projects and not finishing them because they want to swim away onto the next project, and because a Pisces thinks like, oh, I can always come back to this. I'm guilty as charged. Like, I got projects that are still open for finishing, but several of them. You understand what I mean? I know where they're at. It's my subconscious mind that's spread out all over the place, but I know where they're at. And it's about timing. It's about rhythm. It's about those rhythms with Pisces Sun. You know what I mean? It's the Capricorn who wants all of this structuring, what time it has to be done, and it's a different type of time. It's more of a earth time, like the actual clocks. And a Pisces sun is more like the flow. It could be synchronicity that lets a Pisces know, okay, that's the hint. Now it's time to do it. Hive mind, collective consciousness, stuff like that. Not calendar building and alarms going off because the whole world gets up at 8 o'clock a.m. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it can be disturbing. But again, Capricorn Moon might want a home to reflect their status, their achievements. Very similar to a Cancer and a Cancer Moon, even though they oppose, go figure. And a lot of that energy that they're utilizing is to make their life better, financially, all around. You understand? So it can be great for a Pisces sun who may be irresponsible too, who may get into things that does not benefit them more often than they should. And the discipline with a Capricorn moon, the no nonsense attitude of a Capricorn moon, cutting things short, cutting people short, can benefit a Pisces sun to achieve and accomplish. So with both of those, so you get what I'm saying with but let me reflect on the Aries moon a little bit more, right? Because there are more positive things to say about the Aries moon, like taking leadership roles. This is the part that I left out. Taking a leadership role, this Pisces may be the Pisces that everybody is like, whoa, you're a Pisces? You know what I mean? Because being headstrong and just, now it may look like, right? Now check this out. It may look like this Pisces has it all together. Like, look at them go. You know what I mean? But again, they don't know what it is that, they're not going with a plan. You understand what I'm talking about? They're going with, we're going to figure this shit out on the way. Still. But at least it's action. At least it's action. Pisces sun alone can be so passive that people be like, yo, where are they? Have you spoken to them lately? Where are they? And even when you speak to them, they may speak back to you to not let you know anything or what's going on or anything, because they're actually drawing your energy to obtain information from you just for the fact of having conversation. So at least they can say, oh yeah, I spoke to so-and-so the other day, to make them look like they're alive and functioning. However, they may just be dormant, waiting on something. So, that rap of being timid, it's not going to happen with the Aries moon. That Pisces is gone off those thoughts, those imagining thoughts that they have. Like, Aries moon is going to pull that Pisces. Like, okay, time to go. And being right next to this Pisces is great for the Pisces. Another thing that makes it great for the Pisces, as I said before, Pisces 12th house rules discoveries. So this Pisces is going to discover what it is that they need to discover quicker than the average Pisces, because they're going to be pulled by that Aries moon. The moon pulls water. So Aries is going to be like, let's go. You've been dreaming about what? Let's go. You had a dream about who? Let's call her. Let's go to her job. You know what I'm saying? Dating is also much better for a Pisces sun and Aries moon, because they'll get right into it. You know what I mean? Pisces like to build up momentum in relationships. I know you get the rap for being whores and shit, right? But really, Pisces can be very selective when it comes to sleeping with people. But you may be able to catch them on a one-night stand or some humble shit. Like, when a Pisces gets a drink, they might make love to you. They might become Shakespeare. They might become James Bond all in one night. It's another story. I digressed a bit, right? But what I'm saying is the confidence level of an Aries moon will bring the Pisces out to date more. It's like, fucking, let's go out and have a drink. You may be the initiator of going out and dating instead of being the mysterious motherfucker in the background, like, you know, just imagining it happening and trying to actually force it to happen in your mind using the law of attraction. But, that can take more time than you expect sometimes, Pisces. You know what I'm talking about. So those are some of the more great qualities about the Pisces moon. The Aries moon with the Pisces sun. Now, there was also a request about having an Aries rising with displacement. Pisces sun and Capricorn moon. Now, I've actually studied charts with the Aries rising. What I can say about Aries ascendants is that it's pretty much relative to what I described about the Aries moon. You're going to take action. But at the same time, there can be some mistakes made, right? As I said before, the impulsiveness, there can be some mistakes made. The temper of Aries ascendants should be quelled, because not only will they have a temper, what they're saying when they have temper flare-ups, they believe it to be concrete true. Like, they believe like that's the way that it is, and they just can't be wrong about it. And I said this before in an Aries video. I got to get to that Aries video because I don't think I've responded to these people. It was a good video, quality video. It's just a couple of Aries had a problem with me saying stuff about Aries, making mistakes or something like that. I got to get back to it to figure it out. But, it was like they relate to themselves when they're trying to advise you on something. And that's really not how advice works. You have to have empathy so you can put yourself into the shoes of another when you're advising them. You can't be in your shoes and be like, yeah, do it like this and do it like that because I did it that way. That's just not how it works. But an Aries ascendant will have that attitude as to say, look, they'll come quickly angered and be like, look, why would you do it like that? Like, that's not, and this is why, and da-da-da-da-da, you got to do it like this. And it's kind of like a forceful type of talk that they give you as to say, you should do it now. You understand what I'm saying? So, and if you think I'm joking about this, experiment. When you get an Aries ascendant, or this Aries ascendant that is asking, just think back to matters to where, just be open with yourself right now. Even if it was an error, just think back to matters where you might have told someone to do something or how to do something. Have they ever failed when you told them? See if you can come up with a memory like that. You know what I mean? Because I've experimented with it with myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew this Aries ascendant cared about what it was that I was conversing with them about or whatever, to an extent, to a degree. Again, it's not their project. It's not what they're doing. So they're using their own perspective. But I'm like, this person does this so much because, again, the ascendant is the filter, right? So how you perceive information is how you take things in. And also how people are going to perceive you is going to be in an Aries way. They're going to see you like an Aries. You project the aura of an Aries. So I was like, let me give this person the benefit of the doubt. Let me just see if, this hint of advice is actually plausible. And now in my gut, I'm already telling myself it's not. But you know how people could say, oh, you could be pessimistic, think brighter, think on the bright side and this, that, and third. So I will be open-minded enough to experiment. Well, let me see. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I got a few dollars to do it. This thing actually costed money. So I do it and it tanks. You know what I mean? And then, I'm just like, you see, I did it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what happened. Blah, 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 blah. I knew I should have stuck to my gut instinct and did it this way. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, it was just like a joke to them because the temper flare-ups, the flare-ups in general of a Aries ascendant is going to be short-lived, right? Before Pisces is more along the lines of, this is long-term, like this is long-term, this is forever. I lost money, how am I going to get that back? You can get it back, but When you lose money, it's like losing energy. And Pisces just don't be having the energy to spare like that. Aries, spare it all day. You know what I'm saying? Could spare it all day. But the Pisces Sun is not going to take a liking to that. So you may have this mighty madman. You may have this struggle within yourself as well. Like you may do things out of impulse. Like this has got to work. This just got to work because I got to do it. And then when you do it and you're like, oh shit, that shit didn't work. And your subconscious, right, might have told you like, that might not be the smart thing to do. Or we don't really have the budget to do that. But the Aries Ascendant is just like, not even thinking about it, it's just doing it. Like your subconscious may be telling you and you're like at the same time pulling out your debit card, making the transaction. You know what I mean? So this is one of the type of regrets that displacement can have. But you also see things in a very bright and fiery way. You know what I mean? You look at things like, okay, the people who are critiquing it should just shut up. You know what I mean? Don't critique the person doing it. And that just may be your attitude full on. Like, let me do it, and then I'll tell you. Especially if a person is telling you something that they haven't done yet. It's very challenging for Aries to take that person's advice or their input. Because it's like, you haven't done it? Oh, you haven't learned off the experience yourself yet? You're probably not the best person to talk to about this stuff. I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean? And then you'll probably have better conversations with people after you do things. But again, this is how the whole not always being alone and going off on your own kicks in. Because when you converse with people about things that you regret, then you get the understanding. Somehow you end up talking to people who may have done it as well before, or they just have wisdom. They have some type of input, or they have a knowledge base on it. They have a recollection of many people who've done it correctly, incorrectly, did it this way, did it that way. So your asset is in talking to people, Aries Ascendant, and finding stuff out from other people. So when you do it, you're more equipped to do it. Right? It's nothing wrong with planning and strategizing. There's nothing wrong with that. Try it and see the difference. Or reflect. I'm not saying that you've never done this before. Reflect on times that you have actually done it. Got some input from someone else on something that you was headstrong about doing anyway. Something that you preferred to do. But you just got some input from other people before you went in and did it. How did it make you feel as you were doing it? How did it turn out? Was it better than other pursuits of yours? You know, was it more fulfilling than other pursuits of yours? You know, because Aries energy is prone to accidents, prone to slip ups and oops, my bad. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty much it in a nutshell. Glad that I can tackle all of that. And if there's anything extensively that you want to talk about, get in the comment box and I'll answer it there, or I'll address it there. Any agreements, get in the comment box. Any disagreements, get in the comment box. And if you do disagree about something, like because I learned too, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you have different planets somewhere else, and that can affect why you do or supports what I explained, or doesn't support what I explained. It's possible, okay? And this is the potential of every video I do. Like, there's definitely other factors inside of the astrological wheel that can affect or even take away from what I say. You know what I mean? So I'm open-minded to that. Just let's go from a constructive approach, because I don't mind extending the conversation in the comment box. You know what I mean? And I'm not just going to totally refrain from doing the video, because I already know, like, sometimes when I do these videos, I set myself up for, but, you know, I agree with 70% of this video. I agree with 80% of this video, but this percentage, this, that, and the third. Like, I already know I'm setting myself up for that. Sometimes I'm just full-fledged on. Sometimes I set myself up for that because there's other factors that are missing, and I know that. You know what I mean? But for the sake of dialogue, for the sake of even talking about this stuff, let's be constructive in the dialogue, and it's cool. All right, y'all, I'm out. Until next time.